Alright students, this goes along with the 4-4 worksheet that was given out today. Remember that it really has to be done today or there'll be some unhappy consequences. I think I did problem 3, parts A, B, and C. So along with this it should only give you about not too many more problems to do. I hope you really pay attention to the video and just not fast forward to get to the answers. What's more important than the answers is to know how to do the problems. So let's go ahead and start on problem number 1A. One thing that you've got to remember on this is that there's a 1 in front of that x. So that's actually 1x. It's usually not written as 1x, it's usually just written as x. So I'm going to subtract that from each side. That's gone, it goes to 0. So now I have a negative 2y equals a negative 6 minus 1x. So let's divide by a negative 2. So there's a lot of negatives going on here. So you've got to be very careful. So now I have y equals a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So that's 1/2 x. And then negative 6 divided by a negative 2 is a positive 3. So there are my values, or my equation. Now I need to get my values. I need to make sure to use multiples of 2 because the 2 is in the denominator. So I will choose 2, 0, and a negative 2. So I know a 3 is going to be a part of all these calculations, so I'm just going to write it down. There we go. And so we're ready to go. So 1/2 times 2. Well, 2 times 1 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So when x is 2, I got 1 plus 3 is for my y, so my y is 4. Now I check at 0, so I have 1/2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. And now for my last point, I have 1/2 times a negative 2. So negative 2 times 1 is a negative 2. And negative 2 divided by 2 is a negative 1. So now we add these two integers and I get 2. So my ordered pair is 2, 0, negative 2. Or excuse me, it's 2 and 4, 0 and 3, and negative 2 and 2. So let's go ahead and plot our points. I've got 2 and 4. So I come over here, 2 on the x-axis and up 4 on the y. So there's that point. Now I've got 0 on the x and 3 on the y. So there's that point. I haven't done a very good job drawing that one in. Let me start that one over. So that should be a positive 3 up here, sorry. And now I've got a negative 2 and 2. So a negative 2 and up 2. So my line travels along these 3 points. Let's go ahead and get my straight edge. So the first equation looks like this right here. And that is equation letter A on number 1. So I'm going to label that A. Okay, now we're ready to do problem number 1B. So there's my x term, there's my y term. It's a negative 6x, so I will add 6x to each side. So that cancels, it adds to 0. So now I will divide by 4 to each side. So now I have y equals, now 2 divides the top, 2 divides the bottom. I need to simplify this fraction to lowest terms. So that'll be 3 over 2x, and 4 into 16 is 4. So 3/2 x plus 4. So now we're going to choose multiples of 2, just like we did before. So we'll choose 2, 0, and a negative 2. Now you can actually put these in any order, it doesn't matter. Okay? So you could have 0, negative 2, and 2. You could put them in any order. So now we know on our calculations I'm going to add 4 to everything that I get out of here. So I have 3 over 2 times 2. Well, 3 times 2 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 3 plus 4 for my final answer here for the y is 7. So when x is 2, y is 7. Now we'll do the 0. 3 over 2 times 0, that's 0. 0 plus 4 is 4. And now we'll do the last one. We've got 3 over 2 times a negative 2. Well, that's a negative 6 over 2 divided by, divide that together, and I get a negative 3. And a negative 3 plus 4 is a positive 1. So there are my ordered pair. I have 2 and 7. I've got 0 and 4. And I have a negative 2 and 1. So remember, the first one's the x, the second one's the y, so don't get your ordered pairs confused. We always start counting from the origin. Then I'm going to count over 2 and then up 7. So there's my first point. I think I'll show this one in a different color. Then that one's plotted. Then I go 0 and 4. So 0 on the x, 4 on the y. That should be that point right there. And then my last one's a negative 2 and 1. So a negative 2 and up 1. So that looks like a straight line. If it wasn't a straight line, I'd have to go back and check my points. So one ordered pair there. Another ordered pair right there. So there's my graph. And that is line B. So there's the ordered pair. Ordered pairs, there's the table, X and Y table. Now let's go ahead and we'll go down to C. So let me move this down or move it up. That should be good there. So 3y minus 5x equals a negative 18. So let's add 5x to each side. That's gone. Let's divide by 3. So that will give me y equals, that 5/3 just stays there, 5/3 x. And then negative 18 divided by 3 gives me the negative 6. So we know negative 6 is going to be added to each one of these results I get from here. And this is a multiple, it's a denominator of 3, so I want to choose my x's as multiples of 3. 3, 0, and 3. And now over here I need to do my integer math. So I'm going to have a negative 3. Well, we can go 5 times a negative 3 is a negative 15. And negative 15 divided by 3 is a negative 5. So what's wrong with this one right here? Well, you can see it's too high because it comes up to be a negative 11. So I can't use that one. Yep, I can't use that one, so I got to figure something else out. So why don't we try, let's just do some of these other ones that may help us with this one right here. So let's just put this one to the side here for a minute. And let's go ahead and figure these other ones. So now I have 5 over 3. I know I'm going to times it by 0, so that's 0. So that'll give me a negative 6. Down here I have a 3. So 5 times 3 divided by 3. That gives me 15 over 3. That gives me a 5. So that gives me a negative 1. So I know that they get a little bit closer to 0 as I come this way. So why don't we choose our next x here to be a positive 6. So let's go up here and erase this one. I hope that makes sense. You can see that at 0 is a negative 6, and at 3 I'm going farther on the positive direction for my x. It gets a negative 1, which is only a 1 from 0. So maybe if I choose a 6, it will change me only 5. See, it says I'm going up here by 5. So that should help me out. So let's go ahead and, I want to keep that one. I don't want to erase that one, sorry. So that was 3. The one I want to erase are these right here. And so I decided that I would use a positive 6, correct? So let's put a positive 6 there. So I have 5 over 3 times 6. That's 30 divided by 3. That gives me a positive 10. A positive 10 minus 6 gives me 4. So that helped me out. So now I know my ordered pair are 6 and 4, 0 and a negative 6, and then my last one is 3 and a negative 1. So let's go ahead and plot these points. Let me choose a different color. Why don't I choose? I'll choose lightning yellow. I don't know why that did that. Okay, so I've got 6 and 4, so 6 positive, 4 positive up. So there's that point. And then I have 0 and a negative 6, so 0 and a negative 6 is way down here. And then my last one is 3 and a negative 1. So there's my lines. Get out my ruler. So one ordered pair is right there. Another point is right. Looks like that should be pretty good. So let's draw that line. And then that line looks like it's C. So out of the ones we've done so far, I think this is the hardest one because of the dealing with one that was too large. Okay, let's do D now, and then that'll be the end of this video. Subtract 2x. Those are gone. I'm going to divide by 8. So that gives me y is equal, I'm going to divide by 8 there, and negative 1 over 4x plus 4. So each one of those will have a 4 added to it. And then I know my denominator is 4, so I want to choose integers of 4. So now let's look at what I've got here. A negative 1 over 4 times 4. Well, that's easy. That's a negative 1. Negative 1 plus 4 will give me 3. We know this one times 0 will always be 0. So that'll give me a 4. And now for my last one, I have negative 1 over 4 times a negative 4. That'll give me a positive 1. So 1 plus 4 is 5. So now my last ordered pair, I have a negative 4 and 3. I have 0 and 4. I've got a negative 4 and 5. So let's go ahead and graph this. I've got negative 4 and 3. So that's back this way, isn't it? A negative 1, 2, 3, 4, and a positive 3. So that's that ordered pair there. 0 and 4. 0 and 4, I've already got a point there, so it's going to cross right there. And then my last point is a negative 4 and 5. A negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, what do you think about that? What's wrong with that? There's something wrong. Oh, it's way out of line. That line looks like it's got to go like this. Okay, I've done something wrong here. Yep, I've got everything mixed up. Let me go back here and we're going to fix this real quick. So do you see what I'm saying here? And this is a chance to really show you. See, I've got a line that says that things should go this way. I've got a set of ordered pair that says the line ought to go this way. Then I've got this ordered pair that says it should go this way or that way. So what do you think? Well, that's why we have to go back and check what we've done here, because there's something wrong right here, isn't there? So let's go back and we'll back all this out. And then I'm going to erase this here. This is exactly when you're taking the quiz or something like that and you make a mistake. This is exactly what you have to do. And some of you get frustrated, you get angry, and then you won't do it. So this is the only way you can do it. So let's go ahead. Let's erase these. And you see that right there? That should be a positive 4. Let me get me a pen out here. So let's check our numbers. So I have a negative 1/4 times the negative 4. That should be a positive 1. That should be the 5. That will still be the 4. Now I've got a negative 1/4 times 4. That should give me the negative 1. So that should be 3. So now my points are negative 4 and 5. So a negative 4 and a positive 5. 0 and 4, which is right there. And then I should have 4 and 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Wow, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? Now they look straight. So let's bring out our ruler. So if you make a mistake, people, you just can't say, ah, darn it, and just give up. You go back and you make it right. Okay, so that is number D, or letter D. And so there's the work, and right here we made a little bit of a mistake, but we fixed it. So thanks, and take a look at this video. You can replay it as often as you need to. If this doesn't answer your questions, please come and visit with me in class, and we'll see what we can do to help you. And have a good afternoon.